Today we're going to be looking into setting up DynamoDB database tables using both the UI and the command line. So I just logged into my AWS console, and if I look for DynamoDB, it's a NoSQL database. And if you go to the dashboard, you're going to see this create table. So we can create the table over there. Once we click on the create table, we need to give our table a name. We're gonna say author. Then we have to specify the primary key. So DynamoDB basically requires specifying a primary key when creating a table. This consists of the partition key and sometimes like a sort, like actually, yeah, a partition key and a sort key. And sort key is an optional here. So what partition key is, like, it defines how data is distributed across partitions. So choose an attribute that evenly distributes your data and is frequently used in queries. That's the you're gonna be the partition key. Sort key, which is an optional one. If you need to sort items within the same partition, you can specify a sort key. Okay, so we are gonna say enter the partition key name. So we're just gonna say the ID is gonna be the partition key. Okay, then we have to define okay, so if we have the customized settings, we can actually go to choose the table class. We have a DynamoDB standard class and a standard AI. Okay, and we have the read write capacity settings. We have the like the separate setting for the read capacity and the setting for the write capacity. For this demonstration purposes, I'm just gonna stick to the default settings here. You can see it's gonna choose the standard DynamoDB class table. The capacity mode is provision. You have an 5 RCU read capacity units. Then we have the 5 write capacity units. Auto scaling is on. Uh, Encryption key management is owned by Amazon DynamoDB, and deletion protection is off. Okay, and all of them are like editable except the local secondary indices. Okay, for now, like tags, they are pairs to keys and optional values that you can assign to AWS resources. You can have, like, you can associate some tags to it. So basically you're gonna have a tag and like a key pair value, and those are gonna be accessible too. So I'm gonna create the table, and okay, it's asking for the feedback. Okay, it's creating the table. The partition key is the ID, and the deletion protection is off. Again, once it is created, you should be able to go into it and active. You can get into this one. It's gonna say again, you can explore the table items. If you have any, you can create an item, and that's gonna keep going on using the UI. Another thing, we wanted to look into how you do all these things, like using the command line. So for that, I'm gonna open up my terminal here. Okay, so the first thing is that you need to have like a profile setup. You need to have AWS CLI installed. So first thing is, like, we're gonna go to some temporary file, maybe make directory demo for AWS DynamoDB. I'm gonna get into that. Okay, so we're gonna create a JSON file. We can call it like a table config JSON file. So let's call it like a table config.json. Okay, and what it's gonna be, what's it's gonna have is like it's gonna have a table name. First of all, it's a JSON file, and I'm not using any um, IDE. I'm just gonna be using the terminal and the Vim for this video. So we're gonna have a table name. Let's call another table. Let's call it like uh, an employee. Right. Then we're gonna have to define a key schema, like just like we did in case of the primary key and stuff like that. So the key schema, and then that's gonna be an array. So the first element we're gonna have is like it's gonna have an attribute name, and we're gonna tell him like what's gonna be the key type. So the first thing is the attribute name, and we're gonna call it just a primary key, and then we have to tell him what is the key value, oh sorry, key type. That is gonna be a hash. Okay, the next thing is like the attribute definition, right? We have to tell him that like the primary key we define, what's gonna be the attribute type of that. Right now we just told him the key type is gonna be the hash. So for that we're gonna say attribute definition. Again, this is gonna be an array too. Okay, so again, the first element, we're gonna just have one element in it, and we're gonna say that the attribute we wanted to configure, its name as primary key, and then we're gonna have the attribute type, which is gonna be the string. Okay, next we wanted to have like remember we were talking about the read capacity units and the write capacity units. We definitely need to have those. We're gonna have provision throughput. Okay, and the only two things we need for that is the read capacity unit, which is gonna be 5, and the write capacity unit, which is gonna be 5. Okay, that would be it for now. Okay, so just to be like to have the same kind of like the same kind of primary key we had it for the table author, I'm gonna replace it with the ID so we can see the differences. Okay, once you have that, so basically we need to have this we need to we need to run the command in order to push this table or create this table up there in the AWS. So for the command for that is going to be the AWS DynamoDB create table. And again, you can always come here and do the help and it's gonna tell you, okay, DynamoDB, you wrote DynamoDB, you can do these things, you can do a create table, you can do a delete backup, all those things. So again, wherever you are stuck with the commands, write whatever you remember, and then write help in order to get more insight, pointers, like what commands you have available. So we're going to do a create table. Okay, we are doing a CLI input JSON, meaning that we are doing it through CLI, and it's going to be a JSON format, and the file is going to be our whatever we had, that like the table config .json. Then I am gonna be pushing it to a certain profile because I have multiple accounts on AWS. So this is gonna be bold 2024. That's just the profile, that's just the account I wanted to push it to. Okay, so once it prints out these kind of things, it says that table description is here, our table name is employee, it tells me that the create table status is creating, it tells me the date time when it created it, all the capacities, I like the provision throughputs I try to configure, and how many items it has, all those kind of things. If we go back here and go to our tables, try to refresh that, you would see that now I have two tables, author and employee. Now if I go here and if I want to delete that table, it's gonna delete all CloudWatch alarm for author, sure. Create an on-demand backup, no, we don't want to create an on-demand backup, and we have to write confirm, okay, and delete it. So it's gonna start deleting it and you would not have access to it anymore. Okay, the same thing, a couple of other things in the CLI. One thing is, like, if you really want to so it did give you an output that okay, the status is creating, but if you want to confirm that it has been created, you can say AWS DynamoDB describe table, and the name of the table is what was our table name? Employee. Profile is gonna be the role 2024. Okay, so once you write that, it's gonna say that the table status is active. It would tell you it's gonna be the same creation date. So basically you can check the status of the table by this command, describe table. Okay, now if you want to delete that, all you have to do is like AWS DynamoDB delete table, and the table name is gonna be employee, and again we gotta give it a profile name that is gonna be the bold 24. Okay, now it's gonna show you the table status, which is deleting. It's gonna tell you the table name, all its attributes, and if we wanted to confirm that, we can come here, refresh that, and you won't see any table anymore. Those are the things I wanted to cover in this video. Thanks for watching.